Hey everybody, and that is a fantastic result by Liverpool Football Club. Of course, away to Brentford, and the final result 2-0 over there. A match that wasn't really easy. It was a tough one, I have to admit, and I'm being very candid here. Usually I script these things and I have all the data and the statistics. I've got none of that. I'm too excited. I want to jump right into what that result means for Liverpool and also how it came about. And what this result, of course, means for Liverpool is that they are still very much in the title run. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I don't think any Liverpool fan wants to do that. I don't think anyone should be doing that, putting the cart before the horse and start celebrating, saying, hey, Liverpool's running away with this, because clearly they are not. They've got that game in hand, but this means that they do go 7 points clear at the top again. Now, Liverpool need to maintain this for all of the remaining fixtures if they really, really want to snatch that title. But what this means in this particular fixture is that Liverpool showed a level of resilience that I don't think we would have seen from Liverpool in last year or the year before that. Or I don't think it's the type of resilience that you would see from any other club. Now, once again, hats off to Arne Slot for some of the fantastic changes that he's made. I'm not going to get into too much of the details over there, but what I do want to say is it's fantastic to see that Arne Slot is making use of the players that were purchased for specific roles within the squad, and them actually getting to do what they need to do. What am I talking about? I'm talking about that first goal that Liverpool really needed. They needed that breakthrough. And fantastic to see that it came from Federico Chiesa and it came from Darwin Núñez. And it came from something that I had observed, and that is that when Darwin Núñez is allowed to run in the middle of the park with a attacking midfielder right behind him, he becomes the danger man. So he's not just running full of pace into dangerous areas. He's running into dangerous areas of opportunity and is able to slot them away. That is what we need to see more from Liverpool, and that is what we need to see more from Darwin Núñez in that particular position. When Darwin Núñez was acquired and at the same time Szoboszlai came into the squad, this is one of the things that I was ranting and raving about, that we are getting a midfielder who's able to feed a striker. And at that time, Liverpool had really only been playing with a false number 9 with Bobby Firmino, and he would kind of drop back, allowing Salah to run into the middle of the park or Sadio Mane to run into the middle of the park, and they would take over as a dual strike duo, and Firmino would fall out of that and help out in the midfield. Other times he would surprise the defending team by also being part of the attacking team over there. But when Darwin Núñez was acquired, he was an out-and-out striker, and we needed someone who could play in the midfield a little bit different to a Jordan Henderson, who was able to lay back, play more of a defensive role, allowing Bobby Firmino to fall back into place. No, Liverpool had made a couple of acquisitions in that time, and I think this was Jurgen Klopp's vision on a slot, fantastic in allowing this to play out. In the fact that we now have Ryan Gravenberg playing as that defensive, the midfield, the double pivot over there with two midfielders in front of him, and then we've got the attacking three. This, of course, on a slot switches and changes around, allowing Liverpool to overload that midfield. But here is the important bit. Dominic Szoboszlai was brought in to play behind a striker, a lone attacker. And that is the type of player that Darwin Núñez is. And that very first goal came as a result of that. Now, I want to place emphasis on this. At some point in that match, statistics were shown on the screen, and it was shown that out of the 10 shots that Brentford had and the 36 that Liverpool had, only 6 were on target, which tells me that Liverpool was working 3 times as hard as Brentford to get the same amount of shots on target. That is unacceptable. And this is what happens when players are played out of position. In my humble opinion, stop playing attacking strikers out on the wide side of the park and playing wingers in the middle of the park. When the changes were made in that second half and players were kind of given free rein, you'll notice there's a certain particular point. I can't remember at what point in the game. Arne Slot had just had a quick word with one of the players. Everything started changing. The dynamic started changing. The gameplay started changing. And all of a sudden, players like Darwin Núñez was allowed to run into the middle of the park and not necessarily only play out on the wide, run into the middle of the park. And behind him, Dominic Szoboszlai, McAllister came in there as well. He was fed balls, and that resulted in the first goal. The second goal, equally impressive. Darwin Núñez took that ball off from Mo Salah's feet. Mo Salah continued his run to a wide position, allowing Darwin Núñez to run more central and slot that ball home. This says a lot to me, and that lets me know that they are starting to shape things and shift things into a more natural position. This is what Liverpool needs. This is what we need to see more of. And in very quick succession, when that started happening, the goals came. Darwin Núñez needs to be playing in that midfield that middle of the park in the front position, and he needs to be played balls from an attacking midfielder like we saw for that first and that second goals. Players like Mohamed Salah needs free rein to run across the front of goal, allowing him to get into goal scoring positions and allowing him to be very, very dangerous on wing positions. When that happened, the goals came. Now, what does this mean? This means going into the next couple of fixtures, we need to see a lot more of that. It needs to be very, very dangerous. It needs to be very, very clinical. And I think we need to see a lot more of Darwin Núñez. That's my take on the game. That's just off the cuff remarks. That is from the top of the head. No statistics involved over here. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think I'm disillusioned here and you've got a different take? Let's engage in the comments. I absolutely would love nothing more than that. And if you haven't yet, please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, you'll never walk alone.